here I am at All Saints to talk us through the whole issue of what we're going to do during Ash Wednesday. We're not having worship in church at the moment, and there's the added problem during this pandemic that we can't touch people in church. So how are we going to approach Ash Wednesday, this hugely important part of our Christian journey, the beginning of Lent? How are we going to move from turning our palm crosses into ash? What are we going to do? Well, I'm hoping that people have got palm crosses at home so that they can turn their own palm crosses into ash. If you don't have palm crosses at home, that's fine. As you know, the church is open Monday to Friday, 2 till 4. We will put some palm crosses on the table in the welcome hall for you to take away. So everyone can have a palm cross if they wish to do this thing of turning palm crosses into ash. Now, it might seem quite a simple thing to do. It is fairly simple, but there are one or two things to bear in mind. So now I'm going to talk us through how we create ash for Ash Wednesday. There are basically two ways of doing this. You can either burn the palm crosses in the garden, if you have a garden, somewhere outside, perhaps placing the crosses into a biscuit tin or into a barbecue. That, in a way, is the cleanest option and the quickest option. But not everybody has a garden. And also, on the day we choose to do this, it might be raining. So there is another option, which is to use our oven. To do this, you have to be prepared to turn the heating in the oven up quite high, and it does take quite a long time, probably about an hour. So if you're going to go down the oven approach, which I better warn you does create a bit of smoke, so you probably want to use a container in the oven. If you want to go through the oven approach, this is a recommendation for how to do it. You get your container, and you put the palm crosses inside. Boost the oven to top level and let the crosses burn with a fan on in the oven for about an hour, maybe a bit longer. Okay, so you've done that, and now you have your palm crosses. These were done earlier through an oven. If you are going for the outside approach, using a biscuit tin or a barbecue, the palm crosses will have reduced down to kind of wispy, ashy sort of material, so it's already done for you. But you will need to probably apply an accelerant if you're taking the garden approach. In the kitchen approach, this is what you end up with. Okay? These are the palm crosses, thoroughly burnt through. I can now just crunch them up. You could use a pestle and mortar, you can use a fork, whatever way you choose to go for it. So here we are. The palm crosses are reducing down to quite a lot of ash actually for just a few crosses. I carry on crunching them down, and you can make them as fine as you like. I'm not going to go for the super fine approach because I'm doing this in front of the camera. But there we are. Quite a lot of ash there, isn't there? As you can see. Now there are two further stages. The first is to try and create some consistency to the ash. It's traditional to apply a little bit of olive oil. Oil is used in the church for anointing, for healing. So in a way this is very appropriate because at the centre of Ash Wednesday is the concept of healing, our healing in the face of our mortality and in the face of our sin. So here we have a little bit of olive oil. You don't need very much. May actually put a bit too much in there. And then we're just combining it to create something that's got more consistency. And also, when we apply it to our foreheads, is going to adhere, because otherwise it's too wispy and it just drops off. Getting it exactly right is a bit of a case of trial and error. In church services, when we do this, we also sprinkle the ash with a bit of holy water during the service, so that it's got a degree of moistness, and also as a sign of blessing, because these are being used for sacramental purposes. So there we have the ash. Please do collect palm crosses from the welcome hall if you don't have any at home and you want to participate. Our plans for Ash Wednesday are that we will stream an Ash Wednesday Eucharist as usual at 7:30 p.m. But when it comes to the ashing, which is such an important symbolic part of the service, we will be asking people to apply ash to their own foreheads, whether they're watching at home or whether they're in church. And if you're watching at home with others, you can do it to one another. So let's get ready for Ash Wednesday. Let's get ready for Lent. Let's turn our palm crosses into ash. Such an important part of the cycle of the Christian year. Those crosses which we received on Palm Sunday as Christ entered Jerusalem now help us on our journey, our new journey in Lent towards